First of all, I need to start by saying congratulations for winning on Monday night at the Rugby Writers' Dinner.
Much, yeah.
Did you have an inkling you might win the Pat Marshall Award?
Honestly, I had no idea. I literally received a couple of text messages from Paul Morgan and Steve Jones a few weeks beforehand, just saying, "Are you free on the Monday, on the 10th of January?" And I said, "Yes, I am," obviously. And came down and all dressed up, looking pretty smart, sat on the table next to Sir Clive Woodward and also Steve Jones and Ian McGeechan. So it was absolutely fantastic. And all of a sudden I realised that I'd been nominated on one of the main awards, and to win it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Well, you fended off the likes of Brendan Venter, Richie McCaw.
I know. I mean, like I said, if you look at the list of people who were nominated, and to be in that category with them, it's absolutely overwhelming. But what's even more amazing is the list of names who actually had won it.
I know Martin Johnson, David Campese.
I know. I have to admit, I still look at it and I'm pretty much in awe, and to be the first female lady on there. So you can only be pleased and overwhelmed by it all.
So 2011, perfect start.
Yeah, it's been a great start so far. It's only been 13 or 14 days into it, and it's going all right so far. It's nice to win the award because that's obviously it makes me feel very proud that my efforts being recognised, but not just my efforts, it's women's rugby as a whole really, and the efforts of the England Women's team obviously during the World Cup. It's just pleasing to know that it's been noticed.
Well, 2010 was a good year as well, wasn't it? Really, final in
It was
World
good
Cup.
for me personally, and it was good for the team as a whole. I think obviously we're disappointed that we didn't win the World Cup, but I think what we're very proud of is our performances. We worked extremely hard throughout the tournament, leading up to the tournament, and obviously we had a very good tournament, and just unfortunately it's the last final game. But I think for us now we've got a new focus, and obviously coming into 2011, we've got Six Nations.
Yeah, and you're preparing for that moment quite hard.
Yeah, it's. I think for us we've got obviously another new focus, it's a new campaign, and what we need to do as a team is to build on our performances, obviously from the World Cup, and we need to build on and hopefully take it further. Six Nations is always going to be challenging. We've got obviously up against some very good teams, and we're playing some exciting games in some exciting venues.
And who do you think will stand in your way?
I think that obviously every team is a challenge for us. I think you've got to remember with England, we're now the team which everyone wants to beat, and every Six Nations is always like that. Obviously we've got Scotland, Wales. They're all going to want to beat us really. Obviously France pushed us really close last Six Nations to a point, and I think obviously again there'll be a challenging threat this year. But honestly, I think every team is going to want to take us on, and every game will be a challenging one.
And you're playing Scotland in Twickenham.
Yes, I think it's on the Sunday the 13th.
After the men's game.
After the men's game, on the Saturday, yeah. And that should be an exciting game. To play at Twickenham at home is always an honour. I think the fact you've got to appreciate is that we don't always get many opportunities to play at Twickenham, so to play there is fantastic. To play after the men, we played at Twickenham in 2009 against New Zealand.
You got 12,000 people there.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That was amazing. The crowds were fantastic, but not just that. It was just to beat New Zealand, at home is always fantastic, really. But now obviously to have Scotland in the Six Nations game after the men, considering after the World Cup and having the big crowds that we do, we hope to get a big crowd again.
So how did you actually get started in rugby?
Well, I officially started when I was, 13 years old at secondary school. My secondary school was Salisbury in North London, and basically my PE teachers, my main PE teacher, Lisa Burgess. She
Wales?
She was playing rugby for Wales. She was also the captain of the Welsh women's national side.
And she's involved now with them?
She is. She's now, I think she's assistant coach for the Wales team. It was just, I think she motivated me more so because of the fact that, a female PE teacher, someone who's quite inspirational, was a role model to me. And she was training down at my local rugby club, Saracens, and she said, if you want to take up rugby further, this is probably your local club. So I went down to Saracens, and I haven't left since really. So I started at the ground age of 13. I mean, where I'm from, athletics is quite big really. Everyone does athletics, and I initially started off in athletics. I was a discus shot put thrower, and then fortunately found rugby, and then realised, I think for me, I love being in a team sport. To be in a sport such as rugby union especially, it's quite exciting, but it's quite challenging to be in an individual sport because obviously everything's on you and the focus is purely on you. So,
and do you do any other sports at all apart from rugby?
No, I've moved away now. I think, like I said, I used to do more sports. I think what I tend to do is a lot of recreational stuff really, so I will do the odds, maybe going canoeing and so on, and swimming and so on, but it's not really something I take up competitively.
And what do you do away from rugby just to relax?
It's quite hard. Sometimes, I'm in a job where I work within rugby, so my mind is always on rugby. What's quite nice about working in rugby though is that it's not necessarily the focus on me. It tends to be the focus on working with the young up-and-coming athletes at under 20s, under 18 level. And my job is primarily to basically work with the London and South East divisional programme, identify talent coming through the programme and get them on a player pathway to hopefully one day go on to represent England.
And how long have you been doing that?
I initially started the job in September, but prior to that I was working for the IFUW and I was a club coach officer. And then there, again, I worked within Thames Valley, and my job was to purely focus on, identifying players again, but bring them into the game and also working with coaches to develop their ability.
So it's a dream job, really, for you?
It's not a bad job, I have to say. I thoroughly enjoy it, to work within the game of rugby, but to also just work with the next up-and-coming young athletes. It's great that I've done very well, and to be part of such a big, team at the moment and the performance at the moment. But it's nice to think that I'm working with the youngsters coming through, that hopefully, I'll get to see them play for England and who knows, play alongside them. So, yeah. So
where did your nickname, because I wanted to ask you this, the Machine, come from?
Oh, the Machine, that's quite interesting. Back in 2006, we had a World Cup out in Canada. We got to the final against New Zealand, a physical game, a very physical game, unfortunately, that we lost. But, I had a good performance and it was really good. And then Sky Sports were obviously covering the actual game, and I need to clarify, but I think it was Darry Morris on Sky Sports who highlighted the fact that I am now Maggie the Machine.
It's quite a cool nickname to have.
It's a brilliant nickname to have. It's up there with the likes of I think it's Mad Dog Lewis, really. So to have to be considered my own nickname, the Machine, is brilliant. We're
here today meeting at Lee Valley. Why are we at Lee Valley?
Well, Lee Valley Athletic Centre is where I actually train. This is where I do most of my training sessions, really.
And do any of the other girls?
Yeah, here we have is Amy Garnett. She trains down here, our England hooker. Charlotte Barris, who's our England number 15 winger as well. And we also now and again get Rachel Burford as well. She comes down and trains down here. So this is kind of like the pivotal place for people who live in North London, really. We've also got other venues around the country, but for me, this is my main training facilities. What's nice about here is it's got great facilities. I also get the opportunity to train alongside some Olympic athletes. So Christina Aruga trains here. Every now and again, you see Philippa Doe.
So you get tips on your sprinting?
I never really asked them any tips, because if anything, I'm in awe of them. But it's nice to be training such a high performance facilities along some top athletes.
Last year you won as well, just before Christmas, Sunday Times Sportswoman of the Year. Yeah. So what with that and the World Cup final, what was the highlight of 2010 for you?
Do you know what? There's been a lot of highlights. I probably can't actually pick one. I think I was really pleased to get to the World Cup final. Would love to have won it. That would have made my year, really. But the performances in the World Cup, and then obviously getting Sunday Times award against.
You beat Jess Ennis.
I know. I think that still makes me think, oh God, I can't believe I actually did that. I know. Jessica Ennis, Beth Tweddle, Amy Williams, some really big names in that list, and to be classified as now potentially one of the top sportswomen in England. Is something you can only be proud of, really. To win it is even better. So that definitely topped off my year. And then I got invited to the Sports Personality Year Awards and got to sit not that far behind David Beckham, actually.
Oh, nice for you.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad, actually. So I think the whole 2010 was brilliant. I think if I'm going to really pin it down, the award was probably the big thing for me. But then also getting to the final and having about 14,000 people, sing the anthem again, for us, and those are things which kind of memories can be made of.
So what's left for you personally and professionally to achieve?
Yeah, I think obviously my big goal is to win the World Cup. We still haven't done that, and that still kind of I guess gives a bit of hunger in my belly to want to keep going. Our next World Cup will be in 2014, and when that occurs, that's where fingers crossed I want to be. So that's in my rugby world. I guess personally, I think work-wise, I'm still working hard. I've got a very good job now. I'm currently also working with the next up-and-coming talent, and I think for me, I still want to strive further in that and hopefully work my way up the field and try and develop it more, really. But at the moment, I think for me personally, rugby-wise, it's next World Cup.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the Six Nations the rest of the year.
Thank you. I can't wait. I look forward to it. Pleasure to meet you.